Why is cattle rustling not easy to overcome?
Shida kuu ambayo tuko naye ni hii mambo ya sisi wenyewe kupigana.
This practice continues to threaten the economic mainstay of pastoralist areas.
We are willing to play our part as leaders from these communities, but we also want the government to implement the law as it is.
Government has enough intelligence to know who is fueling conflict in every single county and between counties. Let the law take its course.
Criminals roam around in pastoral areas, but no one seems to punish them.
We want to make cattle rustling a capital offense.
It may be that we guide our people to appreciate alternative investment beyond livestock.
For centuries, most pastoralist communities who occupy most parts of the country have faced many challenges that are caused either by factors beyond their control, including unpredictable hostile climatic conditions, or others that are self-inflicted, such as cattle rustling and clan rivalry. The result is persistent conflicts, which are now fueled by political boundaries and devolution, reported discovery of natural resources, and cattle rustling. Persistent drought conditions increases the strain to the already existing natural scarce resources, which leads to conflict as people fight for grazing and farmland rights.
There is no better time to confront the challenges of pastoralist communities than now.
When cattle is rustled at a particular point, the offended community or the community that is injured do not go and follow their cattle where they are. They go to the weakest point of the other community and get these animals. So the vicious circle goes. Now you have another injured party who also go. So we have to break that circle for us to overcome this issue.
Other factors such as historic, economic and political marginalization, resource depletion and the growing availability of small arms and light weapons are among the major factors causing conflicts in the regions. As a result of these conflicts, communities are left with reduced crop and livestock yields, increased casualties as many people are injured and others killed. Many are displaced and their property destroyed. Social services are also affected, including closure of schools, health centers and other outdoor activities as intensified state of insecurity continue to ravage these communities.
Our communities must no longer bear with the sight and circumstance of cross-border conflicts among pastoralist communities.
You'll be surprised that our biggest market is Chaparral. Despite all these problems, we get our produce from Chaparral. So why are we fighting?
What is required now is the men and women who are prepared to take the bull by the horns.
Beneath the facade of this region of economic potential, many families lack social amenities that are helpful to the general well-being of the populace. The development of this region is affected not only by its knowledge levels and attitudes, but also by a variety of social and environmental factors that are often beyond their control. However, under the new devolved system of government, leaders from pastoral areas say there are no more scapegoats for persistent conflicts and state of insecurity.
We need to think about in this forum how we can come up with a new, innovative, creative way of policing, providing justice and securing pastoral areas, different from what perhaps exists in other parts of Kenya, because there are clear peculiarities in those areas which may not be addressed by the current situation.
Insecurity in Kenya has not ended because there is no political goodwill to end the insecurity. Why? Because you people here, the elected leaders, even the county governments, county assembly and the national assembly, you sit together, you talk together, you eat together, you work together, but your people down there are suffering. Why?
Kenya has the capacity, what we lack is the political will and the resolve to deal with it.
The government also requires that holders of all illegal weapons must get them registered immediately.
We want to register all the guns. If you got a gun, you register. If you don't register a gun, that will be an illegal gun. And therefore, later on, we will be able to know how many guns are in the civilian hands in this country. And later on, if your community misbehave, then we know where these guns are. And we just come and collect them.
Further, the national government has formulated policies such as peace building, strengthening service delivery to ASL areas, promote inter-community peace building activities, and promote conflict sensitivity and inter-sector mainstreaming of conflict management.
Let us try and do something because we can actually enforce it. I think we really need to be a bit less conformist and be radical. You lose nothing, you are left by people.
Driven by the desire to improve the socio-economic well-being of their people and reap full benefits from the devolved system of government and technological knowledge, pastoralist community leaders under the Pastoralist Leaders Summit are looking for solutions that will help their communities look at themselves and their resources in a different light, that in the end will encourage them to look within themselves rather than elsewhere for solutions that will in the end empower them to realize their full potential.
A lot of officers, quite a number of officers are also posted to pastoral areas who don't understand the pastoral system.
Other than saying, thinking of what the government is not doing or cannot do, let us first do a soul searching within ourselves.
The narrative of economic marginalization is no longer sustainable. It is now acknowledged that pastoral representation in national government is about adequate. Pastoralist leaders are now alarmed that unless the rising conflicts and insecurity in their areas are stopped, their region risks losing the benefits of the devolved system of government.
The age-old practice of cattle rustling, which has mutated into organized and sophisticated crime, must be halted now.
We also want, as members of parliament, to deal with the issue of cattle rustling as capital punishment. It's robbery with violence.
We have not criminalized cattle rustling. All leaders, when such a problem occurs and police move in to arrest, instead of identifying criminals, all of us leaders rally behind our own people. This is where the problem is.
The issue of boundaries has become the strongest impediment to peace in pastoral areas.
We want, when boundary issues are the conflict, let the government be plain and clear and say, this is where the boundary lies.
They are now focused on the future rather than the past. They are taking advantage of the present realities to empower their communities. It's everybody's hope that Pastoralist Leaders Summit's effort will in the end positively affect the lives and well-being of millions of pastoralists.
If the county government can begin to use resources in a way that includes more people, addresses those historical grievances, feelings of exclusion and marginalization, it can be a step in resolving some of this conflict.
For our colleagues in Pokot and other counties where cattle rustling is still an issue, we can probably help with a leaf from those of us in northern Kenya where cattle rustling is now a history. It used to happen many, many years ago, but that I think somehow we have our other issues, but cattle rustling is something that we have left behind many, many years, and I think we could help in many ways.
Guiding PLS endeavors is the conviction that lasting peace and security are possible only when the economic and social well-being of all their people is secured. These efforts will in the end act as certification of an individual's social credentials and reinforce one's identity and recognition in a manner that ensures access to more resources, emotional support, and public acknowledgement. And in this manner, social capital acts as a springboard from which individuals and the community as a whole accumulate both economic and cultural capital. This will in turn help community members gain access to socio-economic well-being.
Let's have a county-specific resolution and have resources, whether from the county or from the national government. And we have an implementation committee that will ensure that within a specific time frame, these matters are sorted out.
In Masai Mara, we developed very elaborate resolutions that we are determined this time round to implement.
There is a need to punish leaders who incite, who cause trouble. There is also a need for leaders to organize inter-county fora so that you can be able now to take a responsibility, not just on your own county, but also in the neighboring counties.